This rogue build is just pure fucking insanity. It's currently my favorite build in D4 and will most likely be my main build in Season 5. Yep, it's the Andy aka Andariel's aka Hawk on my dick and spread vile diseases onto your enemies build. And in this video, we'll not only go through the Season 4 version, but also what's happening to this amazing build in Season 5 coming in a few weeks. And the footage you're seeing is in fact from Season 5. Because I blasted it for days on end in the Season 5 PTR, and in case you're already running this build, then this video is also for you. Spoilers. It's about to get even better. So how does this build work then? Well damn, it completely relies on the Andariel's Visage Helm and all the testing that the fellow YouTuber Xarrio has done over the seasons. He makes some really awesome content, so make sure to check him out. And why does it even require testing to begin with? Well, damn, my man, because it's D4. And D4 doesn't always work as intended, does it? The helm works via lucky hit. This is cool, but makes it difficult knowing what spells and aspects actually provides us with lucky hit and how to scale it. Thankfully for us, though, Xarrio has done his due diligence all the way back since Season 2. And in Season 4, it became one of the top rogue builds, receiving insane amounts of buffs. When it comes to gaining as many lucky hits as possible, though, that's fairly easy. We just stack as much lucky hit as possible. We also need to choose our main skill to use here, and puncture is the way to go for that. This is due to it being fast as hell, having high lucky hit chance, and throws 3 daggers at once, or 6, when tempered. This allows for a fuckton of lucky hits. To gain additional attack speed, the build also uses Flurry. How does that work? Well damn, by utilizing combo points, Flurry grants attack speed. It's just that simple, folks. For mobility and unstoppable, we're also rocking Dash Along with Shadow Step. In this build, this is only what they're used for seeing, as they otherwise also provides us with crit chance and crit damage. But this does not work with the poisons, as their damage over time here. Next up is Shadow Imbuement. Wait, what? How in the hell is this supposed to help us? Well, this is used for 2 reasons. First, it has lucky hit, much higher than Flurry in fact, allowing us to gain lucky hits while we're using AoE. On top of that, it also provides an additional 12% multiplicative damage, which is yummers, along with not really having any other skill to choose from El Mao. And finally, Caltrops. Now this one is clunky as fuck, but a must-have for any rogue build currently to deal big dam or do any pit pushing. This is due to it generating more damage for you the longer it's up. And by tempering Caltrops' duration on weapons, we can get a buttload of time with this lovely spell. Alright, so that's the basic. Let's check out the ideal gear and aspects, so you can copy-paste and start blasting. The only item you actually need for this build to work is the Andariel's Visage. So if you don't have it, craft one or start farming the Fat Diabetic for a couple of days. For chest, you want to prioritize Dark Shroud ranks, as the damage reduction it provides is just absolutely bonkers. Now to cap the resistances, this is what you're looking to do. First, you want 1 random resistance temper on your gear that isn't poison resistance, seeing as you're gaining a buttload of poison resist from the helmet already. With 1 temper and then gemming for all the other resistances, you should be able to get yourself capped with ease. And if you for some reason fuck up and don't get capped, just grab 1 additional all resistance roll or start swiping some incenses. The most important defensive aspect for this, and well any other rogue build, is the Umbrous aspect. By critting enemies, you can stack up Dark Shroud with ease. Next up are the gloves. Now, this is where we start stacking up that yummy lucky hit. On top of that, we also want to start tempering damage to crowd-controlled enemies. And why is that? Well, shit, because we'll be running the close quarters key passive, of course, turning it multiplicative. I'm also rocking the creeping death aspect for the big hecking damage bonus. After that, we have the pantaloonies. With 1 armor roll and 1 armor temper, you'll get armor capped with ease. On top of that, you're looking to smack on the assimilation aspect for dodge and fortify, seeing as fortify grants you damage reduction and then temper on chance to make enemies frozen. You want to try and masterwork that shit, as you'll double your damage when enemies are frozen. For sneakers, you'll want to prio either movement speed if you want to be fast as fuck, or dex if you want big damn. Either way, slap on the concussive strikes aspect for more damage and stagger, and you're fit for the Paralympics. Now onto the actual interesting stuff. The big daddy weapons and the jewelry. The aspect of retribution is a double dipper, making it absolutely mandatory. On top of that, you obviously want damage, while crowd-controlled temper and additional punctures. You want to get this to 100%. So depending on how shit of a roll you get, masterwork that shit to get it 100%. Also, try to get a bow, seeing as Caltrops is faster when you have it. After that, we have the one-handers. You want daggers for fast attack speed, along with bursting venoms and pestilent points. This is due to them triggering lucky hits, and you can gain some bonuses from the Paragons when you use imbuements. Other than that, Caltrops duration is the way to go for massive damage. You can also go with 1 Caltrop size in case you're a shit newbie that can't land it. And finally, the jewelry. Frigid Finesse is goated as hell, granting 10% big damn per rank. Other than that, you want Deadly Venom and Agility cooldown reduction, seeing as that reduces all of your cooldowns basically, and of course the Noxious Ice aspect for massive DPS. Now for the rings, you're looking for the Rapid aspect and elements for big damn. You also need 1 attack speed roll on your gear to reach a specific breakpoint, and temper shadow imbuement charges to be able to keep it up near permanently. Well damn, gear and aspects are now done. Just about time, as it's already skill tree a fucking clock and you know it. First off, we have the basic skills. We'll drop one of these. On puncture, as this is our main source of poison via Andariel's. Fundamental puncture is insanely important here, as it's our only source to gain vulnerable. This only works on a few targets at a time though, and that's why we have Flurry here. Improved Flurry makes sure to spread the vulnerable with ease. And as we're using combo points, it also grants us a bunch of attack speed. Other than that, grab all of these passives for some movement speed along with defensives. Next we go to the agility skills. Seeing as we're running 3 of these, it's the reason you want agility cooldown reduction on your gear. Enhanced Caltrops is also how we stack up a bunch of multiplicative damage, which is indeed a yummers. Now, we don't need a lot of crit chance in this build, but around 20% is ideal as we need crits for both healing and Dark Shroud stacks. That's why we are using Concussive here and Tricks attacks to make use of it. Next up are them sneaky skills, and this is where you have Dark Shroud. I'm also rocking countering Dark Shroud for that last bit of crit chance. Exploit and Malice are also pretty damn good to have on your amulet, but they're expensive as hell. So either you start swiping, or you may need to go with something else. In the imbuement skills, we find Shadow Imbuement, which we use for more Andes, along with Mixed Shadow Imbuement for that multiplicative big damn I was talking about earlier. Now, if you can find or swipe these skills, you want Frigid Finesse and Deadly Venom on your amulet as their pure perfection, not unlike yourself, you handsome human being. Down in the ultimate skills is where you find a bunch of lovely lucky hit, and if you want some movement speed for speed running, then you could also pick this one. And finally, the key, passive. The only one that actually works and grants us more damage is Close Quarters, so that's what we're running. But seeing as I'll probably get questions about this, let's check out all of them. Momentum, shit. Precision, we don't crit. Victimize, does not work with Andariel's as it doesn't have lucky hit on its own. And exposure, omega shit. Great job, friends. Skill tree complete. Let's blast through my amazing Paragons and get you gaming as soon as possible, my man or woman. The goal here is to just grab all important legendary nodes, the multiplicative glyph bonuses, and as much defensives as possible. Starting off, we have the starting board. Well, no shit, but what are we running? Chip, obviously, granting a yummy 10% big dam and utilizes dexterity. We then head on over to the tricks of the trade board to socket Bane for the additional damage and fuck off to exploit weakness. Grab this and socket control. The bonus on this one is absolutely bonkers, and it also grants us damage to crowd-controlled enemies for the key passive. Absolutely lovely. Next we go to the cheap shot board for the insane legendary node and socket fluidity. Having it here boosts both damage to crowd-controlled and grants us damage reduction, which are both absolutely nutty. Now after this, you have two options, but it doesn't matter which one you pick because you'll get all the important rare nodes either way. So, down here is the No Witness board. Here you are socketing Tracker, and you want this max life node right here, which you should be able to grab regardless if it's the 5th or 6th board. The only thing that is important is that you grab the Eldritch Bounty board and node right here last, as you'll otherwise fuck up my beautiful Paragons. And don't you dare. You'll be able to utilize this as your puncture grants you imbuements with ease, allowing you to gain poison damage. And the final board for today, Deadly Ambush. This one works on non-crits as well, otherwise it would be shit for this build. Not sure if they fixed this piece of shit on the Season 5 PTR, but I reckon we'll need to swap in the new season. For final glyph, I'm rocking Ambush. There are other options, but this one utilizes strength, allowing us to gain both of the rare nodes I was talking about earlier, which is yummers indeed. Well shit, you still here, huh? I sure hope so, because it's time to get hecking good, and you know it. But just to make sure, let me wake you up real quick. Hell yeah. The playstyle is insanely easy when zooming. Drugs are bad, kids, but if you're on Adderall, then this playstyle should suit you. First, we have Dash. This one is used only for mobility. The Shadow Step, though, is also used for Unstoppable. So if you're a Giga Chad on hardcore or pushing, then you should save this for when you're crowd controlled. If you're not, though, then just pop that shit to become fast as fuck. Now for the rotation, you're getting the attack speed bonus from Flurry every 3 seconds, along with spreading vulnerable like AIDS. So use it every 3 seconds, damn it. You're losing massive DPS if you're spamming it too frequently. You also want to press Shadow Imbuement every time it's up, to use with the Flurry. Finally, we have Caltrops. This is the only one that requires some finesse and skill to use, because if you drop a Caltrops when you've already stacked up the damage bonus, then you get to keep the maximum bonus. So, whenever you're fighting a boss or tough elites, you want to keep it up. The agility cooldown reduction helps with this a bunch. Alright, so now you know everything about how to play this build in Season 4. Let's talk about Season 5 now. This build is about to become absolutely godly in Season 5. This is mainly due to the new unique chest shroud of Condurus. And why is this godly? Well, shit, for starters, it seemed to be bugged and actually granting you Andariel Novas. And it also provides you with the one thing the build lacks, an easy way to gather up enemies and bursting them down. As Andariel's is an AoE ability, being able to gather enemies makes the build just pure insanity. But that's far from everything we gain. If you've been paying attention to the gameplay, then you can see me permanently dashing. This is due to Flurry receiving a dash in Season 5 for free, and will gain even more mobility, meaning it heals us, grants mobility, vulnerable and big attack speed. Oh, and they even buffed the lucky hit chance of the skill. Absolutely bonkers, right? Okay, what else is going to be new? Well, shit, pretty much everything is getting buffed. For starters, Shadow Step will now grant you 20% damage reduction, making you invincible. On top of that, you're also gaining crit chance instead of crit damage from dash, making it not fucking useless for this build. And seeing as we'll always run both of these, that's just a flat buff. On top of that, the passives Malice and Alchemical Advantage are both receiving substantial buffs. And if that wasn't enough, there are 2 buffs that are coming that outshine all of the previous ones. First out is Concussive. This one is changed in its entirety, now granting 18% big dam just by pressing potion every now and then. I'm not sure if this will change before Season 5, but this one will be mandatory for every goddamn rogue build, and that's for certain. But the buff I love the most is the one to Smoke Grenade. So what's happening to that skill? Well, for starters, it's now getting a lucky hit chance, allowing us to use it for Andariels. Previously, though, you had to apply the smoke bomb to enemies for it to grant you damage, meaning we couldn't make use of it on bosses. This has changed now, though, only allowing you to drop one of these bad boys on the boss, and you'll gain the damage bonus. And that, my friends, is a flat 25% buff. As you can see, the build was already bonkers, and it's going to get even more fucking bonkers in Season 5. Stay tuned for that build, because it's going to be epic. Until then, though, sub to the goddamn channel, and I'll see you in the next one.